oh, geez, some of us really need to be ashamed of ourselves. We haven't been on albums and things like we used to. And the first thing we do is start tearing people up and down concerning what they're doing and what's happening. We think to stay relevant means we have to rip people apart. The truth and fact of the matter is, some of us need to realize that before we get in front of a camera, we need to go lay on a couch. We need to heal. Some of us are going through midlife crisis. Some of us are depressed because we're not on the big stages anymore. We're not in front of the big lights and the huge arenas and, forums and all that stuff. It's our time to diversify and make sure that our futures are solid. At this particular point, if I got to tear you down to stand up, I'm actually lower than you are. Oh, geez, let's just calm down. Let's find other means and ways to stay relevant while building up present and future musicians.
That's a good one. If I got to tear you down to stand up, that means I'm lower than you are. Listen, we've had these conversations here with the OG versus the young G situation. I love having these conversations because I kind of sit closer to the OG standpoint. I don't think I got enough gray. I got some grays in my hair. You guys ain't gonna be able to see it in camera. And I got a few in my beard that ain't gonna show up because of the way I got my white balance out here. But I'm getting closer to that OG status, age wise and stuff like that. But I've also been in the game and been a musician for over 30 years of my life. So I've been a part of this regime for a minute. I've been a musician all my life, and so I feel like I definitely feel like an OG in the game in that sense. But I think this is powerful, and what something that I advocate for all the time for plus 40 musicians. You know what I mean? That it's time for us to build ladders and not stairs. You know what I mean? Because we spent the bulk of our lives trying to build stairs to get to the next level, to consistently, constantly be pressing ourselves to get to that next stage, that next thing, that next whatever. And now you should be at a place in your life now where you can start building a ladder, which means you extend something down to the younger generation to allow them to climb up to where you are. You don't build stairs for them, you build ladders, because what a ladder does is they have to use both their hands and both their feet, you know what I mean? And carry their own weight to get to the top, to get to where you are. You know what I mean? So it's extending a ladder down to them to help them to get to where you are. And trust me, the upside of building ladders is much more long standing and much more lucrative than building stairs. Because when you build stairs, you're just trying to get yourself up there. You're trying to build something that you can climb up, that you can walk up, rather. Uh, you know what I'm saying? And it's all about you getting to that next level. You know what I mean? But when you build ladders, you turn from being a go-getter to being a go-giver. You know what I'm saying? You start giving back. So that's the standpoint. It's just like what he said. Nobody really cares about what you did 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever that looks like. It's about what value can you bring into their life now. You know what I mean? I've said it before that this generation is Elisha's looking for their Elijah. They're looking for you to impart into them, not to talk at them, not to talk, at to them. They want you to impart into them. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're looking for. Because we think talking is teaching, and it's not. It's just talking. You know what I mean? You have to build relationship with them, you know what I mean, and help them scale to where you are instead of complaining. You know what I mean? It does nothing. It's just you're just complaining. And then they start complaining about you complaining. And then you have a cycle of complaining, and nobody's doing anything, and nobody's growing, and nobody's getting better at their instrument, and nobody's doing anything because everybody's concerned about what everybody else is concerned about. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my perspective. I can go way deep on this, and I have in other videos that you guys can feel free to check out. But I really think that we, as this generation that we're in the spaces that we are, if you've built something in your life and had a career and all of those things like that, don't be the crab that got out the barrel. We talk about crabs in the barrel. Don't be the crab that got out the barrel and then put the lid on the top and says, I can't let anybody else out of this barrel. Y'all just stay in the barrel. And I'm going to stick up here, because you're trying to still maintain relevancy. You're still trying to be on that same stage that you've seen them on. And you're upset because they're on the stage now and you're not on the stage. And then you don't think that they have the competency that you think that they should have to be on that stage. And you're a little bit jealous, and you're a little bit kind of, irate that they get that level of shine, that level of opportunity that you might not have gotten, because social media has given them platforms that and opportunities that weren't afforded to you when you were their age. You know what I mean? And you feel like you had to work harder to get to where you are, and still don't feel like you got the recognition or the love or whatever that you should have gotten in your time. You know what I mean? Because you was putting in the work. But then they post a 15-second video and get 1.5 million views, and you're like, gosh, man, what am I doing with my life? I understand it. I see it on my feed all the time too, and think some of the same thoughts. But at the same time, we have to focus on building ladders, diversifying our income. Because as you're getting older, your income needs to be less dependent on like music, on touring, on being on a stage, on playing an instrument, because you just don't know what's going to happen when you're 50, when you're 60, when you're 70. Those calls aren't going to be coming in like they used to come in. Those production opportunities won't be coming in as if they want. So all you have is what's here. And you got to figure out how to leverage what's here. You know what I mean? Not to keep yourself relevant, not relevant on the stage, but relevant in the minds of the people that are on the stage, so that they think about you when they're on the stage. They're using your products, they're using your methods, they're using the things that you taught them. You know what I mean? And you don't die broke, but you do die empty. That's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy John Mike. If you've been rocking with my content and you want to go beyond what YouTube allows, what social media allows, that's exactly why I created my Patreon. Over there, I break down the real side of music tech, business, how this industry actually works, the creative side. I'm talking exclusive podcasts with your favorite creators. And there's 3 ways that you can join. There's a support tier that starts at just $5 a month. That's for people who just want to support my work and get early access to the content that I create. The Creator Plus tier goes deeper into the tools, the workflows, the plugins, everything that I use to create and scale out my content. And then there's the Business Plus tier. This is where we talk strategy, monetization, ownership, all of the things that I do to make money, how I scaled a 7-figure company, how you can do it too, asking questions, all of the crazy things that you want to know about how to build a sustainable, real career in music. So if you're really ready to take this to the next level and grow your creative business this year, then please join me over there at Patreon. The link is down below. I'll talk to you guys over there. Let's get it.